You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No coming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. I am your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Laceya Finley.
Oh, happy Monday, I hope, for everybody.
So I'm a little curious about today because I don't know what we're doing.
I know. See, Steven doesn't get that too terribly often.
No.
As usually, it's either a surprise for me or we're just talking about some movie or show that we want to do. And I kept telling myself, I want to come up with a game for Steven because I've never done one for him. And we'll see if I hit the nail on the head here or not because I've been struggling with what to call it. So
Okay.
it's probably not going to be a great name because I keep going back and forth because I can already hear people picking it apart. And that's stupid. Like in my head, I'm going, well, I know that, but this here, and I know that, you know. So I figured it was just going to be kind of like a quiz, I guess, in a way.
Okay.
One of the names I tell, and I know what you're going to say, indie game or porn game. And now
Okay.
I realize all porn games are indie games. Got it?
True,
Like I
true,
get
true.
that. Sure. So like one-handed or two-handed games? Would that maybe be a better title for it?
Fair.
You know?
I mean,
So the rules will be that I'm actually going to tell you the name of the game and the synopsis. You're going to have to tell me if it's a regular straight game or a porn game or a one-handed game or a two-handed game, whichever
Okay.
one you want to say. And then if you're struggling, the hints I will give you, if you ask for one, is a review written by someone who played the game. And
okay.
then by the time we get, if you still want all three guesses, I read all three reviews. The third review should give it away.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. And I didn't come up with a point system or anything because if you win, great. If you don't, well, what happened?
cares?
Right? Like
Yeah.
what happens in life? So that's the game I came up with. So maybe not a safe for work podcast today unless
Fair,
you put
fair.
in earbuds or little kiddos around. We're not going to say anything horrible, but you know. how
Things
many
could
times
happen.
you hear, you know, things could happen. And I should have brought some of them up, but I have it all right here. And I don't know. I got 10 games. Let's just see how
Okay.
it goes, I guess, here. So,
I'm ready.
all right, Steven, let's see how well you know this. I hope I did good here. All right. So the first game is the name April 24th. So just
Okay.
very nice, neat game. It's a psychological horror from a first-person view with VHS effect. The main character is an experienced journalist who always strives to uncover the truth. He manages to gain access to the house, which is guarded heavily by police. Steven, is this game a one-handed game or a two-handed game?
I mean, all right. So,
I tried to make it hard, by the way. Hee
I mean, immediately, my gut instinct would be this sounds like a one-hand or two-handed game. Sorry. A two-handed game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot imagine where the porn aspect of it would come into play. But that's the trick. So now I'm in my head
Yep.
thinking this. Thinking, what am I missing here? That this would be a porn game. But I'm going to stick to my gut and say this is a two-hander.
You gonna say it's a two-handed game? Well, congratulations.
Okay.
You got the first one right off the bat. Yeah. People loved it, by the way, too. So if you are all looking for some horror game to play, everyone was just loving this, overwhelmingly positive. So there you go. I watched a little bit of the trailer just to see. It could be an interesting game. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not a psychological first-person horror fan, as you know. I would panic the whole time. But excellent. So see, you're probably going to get them all. I'm going to mark down which ones you won out of 10. Stephen
No,
Ray.
don't give me all that credit just yet. You never
Yeah,
know.
That's true. I mean, I'm hoping I'll trip you up on a couple of them, but who knows here. Let's see. So I'm going to move around just in case I put too many of the same ones in a row. All right, here we go. Dead Rock Redemption is the name of this game. All right.
Okay.
Embark on an epic journey into the heart of the Wild West with Dead Rock Redemption, an open world RPG that seamlessly blends captivating storytelling, deep character interactions, and an expansive 3D world waiting to be explored. Steven, is this a one-handed game or a two-handed game?
See, you think these are easy, but get in my head and I start thinking. All right,
Be
so
surprised sometimes as how much story some games will have anymore.
now this sounds like a typical game that
And
you
of
would
course,
play
trying to rip off
two-handed.
the name. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to do all these different things.
Remember, if you want a hint, I have
But-
reviews too.
I do see where there could be pornographic elements in such a game, but they're not.
I
selling
mean,
them.
Arthur Morgan is on a lot of AI porn bots. I'll just say that now. So
That is true. That is true.
there is a market for it. Of course, most video game antagonists have some sort of fan fiction made about them.
Dead Rock Redemption is Dead Rock Redemption.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They were definitely trying to get that SEO on Red Dead Redemption for sure.
Sure. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with a two-hander because I feel like it's. I guess I'm looking for that sexual element. I know I can put it there, but maybe I'm gonna say two-hander.
I'm going to say two-hander. And that is false. This is a
Oh,
one-handed game. It's not just a game, it says. It's an immersive journey with a meticulously crafted Wild West setting where your choices echo through canyons and legacy and leave you behind etched in its history. Saddle up, partner. The chicks await.
Echo through canyons, huh?
Yep.
I'm sure that's a innuendo of. Yeah,
Gotta
okay.
love it. Gotta love it. And actually, most of the reviews just said, this isn't Red Dead Redemption.
Of course not.
No. Or I wanted to buy Red Dead and then saw this and it was cheaper. And I'm like, well, okay.
That's your fault.
I guess that's your. Yeah. I don't know. I watched some of that trailer. I'm like, I gotta see, is there like any real legit like RPG in this? And you know what? It could be a fun game, guys. Just with some little fun on the side.
Interesting.
Have to
Okay,
yourself.
so I'll try not to overthink it.
Yeah, some of them I'm hoping I made it hard enough where it's just like, you know what? I don't know. But it would be fun if we find out one or the other. And then I would love for the siblings to tell me which ones they looked up and played later. We'll see.
Yeah, please.
All right. So let's see. Let's go to. All right, this game, Endless Monday: Dreams and Deadlines. It's the name of the game.
Okay.
And it's a short story from Endless Monday. Penny, who is a mild-mannered corporate grunt, spends a weekend at the office in an effort to finish her project on time while overcoming distractions from coworkers, space aliens, imaginary friends, and herself. Steven, is this a one-handed or a two-handed game?
Based on everything that you just said, I can easily see this one being a one-hander because it just feels like it's lending itself to distractions. Aliens might be a little weird, but you never know. You never
true.
know. With some of these hentai fantasy AI bot things, yeah.
Yeah, especially, like furries are cute. People with scales apparently or anthropomorphic, I guess I should just say. Animals are a big deal. You do you guys.
Yeah.
You do
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I'm going to say one-hander.
You
I
gonna say
think it's a
one-hander?
one-hander. Yeah.
And it's a two-handed game.
Damn it. All right.
I know. It's a lovely workplace comedy, science fiction, daydream adventure game. It's delightfully brief, so a nice little small game while still taking big swings all at the same time and a fully realized piece of art. There you go. But the game is so boisterous and goofy that it's barely a problem. So you'll be able to go along with it.
Still feel like you could work in some naughty things in there, but I mean,
Oh,
they
totally.
do their own
Dreams,
thing.
deadlines, distractions from my coworkers, my imaginary friends, myself. I'm like, yeah. I got you. Excellent. All right, we might be going through it quicker than I thought. We'll have to. Let's see. Was there even like a really good review from that one? Oh yeah, I wish air fryers were real.
What?
Yeah, I pulled it probably because of that. Because I'm like, do I need to play the game to understand that little piece? Or were you looking for something else, sir? When you saw it was just a regular game, you're like, you know what? I wish air fryers were real.
Yeah, I'm confused by that too. Pretty sure I got one, but I could be wrong.
All right, so your next game, Felvedek. I'm hoping I said that correctly. I tried to listen to it on
Felvedek.
Google doesn't always say it, I think, properly either when the Chica is just trying to replay it back for you, but that's what it sounded like.
Okay.
So this is a JRPG set in the 15th century Slovakia. You embrace the role of an alcoholic knight, Pavel. Meet diverse and interesting characters to help you drive out the Hussites and Ottomans who blight this land. One-handed or two-handed?
If this isn't a two-hander, I don't know games anymore because this sounds like a two-hander. Okay?
It seems like a two-hander?
Definitely sounds like a two-hander because I don't like... At what point are you going to work in sexual relations in what you're doing in this game?
I mean, I'm always impressed when, like, you're watching a video and it's just like the pizza man showed up and then all of a sudden we're all horny with 6 women, you know?
This is true. This is true. But I feel like I didn't hear, like, the workplace thing, you can put 2 and 2 together. I felt like the Western thing could lead there. So, I mean, that was a give or take. But no, it's got to be a two-hander.
Gotta be a two-hander. Gotta be. You are correct.
Ah,
this one it's a game that takes place in an alternate history region of the Slavic Highlands, if I'm saying that right. They were ravaged by the Hussite pillagers. I can't even talk now. And Ottoman spies, while surreal horrors dwell in the dark. It's now up to you, a fair knight with an alcohol problem, to gather a party and stop those who oppose the kingdom.
All right.
There you go.
See,
okay,
yeah.
Got it in. You're like 2 and 2 now. 2 and 2. I might have to bring up my other little thing here. We're going through it. So let's see. Did they have a really good review on that one? It was good reviews, though. I feel like I couldn't really find a dumb one because some people are like, this is the most interesting game I've laid my hands on lately, even though it's not that long. I truly enjoyed every damn minute. They said really good things there. Not that long.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, something I could probably finish. Visuals were good, charming, and just overall loved the plot. I wanted to see it more. So some of them I might have put on my wish list just to check out. It was hard, man. You sit there, you start reading through them all. You're like, man. And then you're like, maybe I'll put it over here. Maybe I'll put it over here. Hit this on my wish list. Start an alt account for this wish list. No. Number 5, Synthetic Soul.
Okay.
The name of the game. It's an immersive, modern, rags to riches life simulator with an in-depth robot companion. What kind of person will you become once you truly have it all? You discover the secrets of the robots and change the world. It's a one-handed game or a two-handed game?
This is a lot like the other one, the Office one, where I feel like it could go one of two ways. And considering you have a robot companion, something tells me it could be like an android, and it could look all sexy or whatever, and it's doing whatever it's got to do. I could see this being a one-handed game. I can lean into that because if I work it through, Synthetic Soul, are you really getting the passion from this robot that you should be getting? It's like that episode of Futurama where they tell people not to be banging robots or whatever. I can't remember what the hell.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, Fry got into a relationship with there was a proper name for it, not a robot, but like a synth. Like it was a synthetic Lucy Lou, so she wasn't real. She was like a carbon copy of Lucy Lou.
Oh!
And he was like all into it, and he was just like, what does it matter? I'm not hurting anybody. He was like, but it's wrong. It's wrong. And it's like, who am I hurting?
Right. If you're not hurting anybody, leave him be, man. You probably spent good money on that.
So I think maybe this is that their take on that concept. So yeah, I'm gonna say one-handed.
With the maybe they're a fan of that.
Yeah.
And you are correct.
Haha.
It is a one-handed game. You get to go to work every Monday to Friday to earn the money. And you do online learning 3 times a day to earn more money. And
Yes,
then
we
you
do.
just get to spend all your money on different suits and personality chips for your oversized boobed robo girl and move in a more expensive house once
I
you've
knew
been
it.
paying the most stuff. Yep.
I knew there had to be big boobs somewhere. I knew it.
Like maybe like a leisure suit Larry in the future. Maybe,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I got my big mansion, I'm making all this money, but now I have my fake girlfriend who's always in the mood.
Okay, I gotta ask: have you ever played that series? Any game in Leisure Suit Larry?
I want to say I had, but it's been so long because those games are actually quite old now if you think about it. I want to say I either did on like a console maybe because I was very addicted to finding just life sim games. And when you come across some of them, you're like, oh. There was another one about being a Playboy bunny too, where you actually played like a Hugh Hefner character. And the point was to build up the magazine and you lived in the mansion and you took pictures of the women and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, it's kind of hilarious.
Do you remember that game now that you describe it? I remember hearing about that game.
I know I played it too because I was like, oh, another sim game. Like, I don't care if things have sexual themes or not, you know? But it was kind of hard because, like, sometimes some women, I'm like, I need you in this pose to get the points. And she would not hit it sometimes. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get her to do it? And so, like, you took the pictures. I'm like, I probably should have felt like a creep. But did you ever play any of them?
No, it's one of those that I've eyeballed a time or two. Like, do I want to? And I'm like, like, I don't know. I kind of fit. I'm in this weird. Am I a pervert if I want to play it? Not to say that you got to be like that or anything like that. It's just like, am I going to get joy out of playing this game? And I don't mean physical joy. I mean, like, am I going to enjoy playing the game? Is it something that would be in my wheelhouse? Because the sim aspect, yeah, I do. Like, I admit, I had, I think it was the original Sims. I think it was the original on GameCube or Wii.
Yeah, well, there for a while they had Sims on consoles, but they were slightly different than the one on PCs. I mean, kind of had to be, but yeah, you might be right. GameCube. I
had a copy on one of those platforms, and I can't remember which one it was on, but I would play it all the time. Like there was just like a life mode or whatever. So you start just basic, and then you build your life, and they go through year after year after year. So you have to get your basic home, and then your roommates, and then you got love interests, and get married, you have kids, and then you get old and retired into a mansion, and just all that, like how they build it. And I played through it so many times because I just enjoyed doing that thing, you know?
Oh, no, I loved those. I think because I started on PC, it was really harder for me to get into the console versions just because there's just so much more you could do with the PC ones. I always felt bad for the console players because we have like all of these mods and all this stuff that we can do to keep it exciting. And you all just have to wait to a patch to fix it when it's broken. You know, like that's what I read from the Sims fandom anymore who plays on console. I'm like, sorry about it. You're about to have some competition though. EA.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm excited for that. There's like 3 new life sim games coming out. Okay. And I think most of us probably heard of Paralives because I actually supported them on Patreon. Like it's been a long time, but they're supposed to come out into early access next year. It's been like 3 people making this game, so it's taking forever. And then Life by You, which is, I can do this, Paradox's game. And they actually have 2 people who used to work on The Sims on that project. One that worked from Sims 1 and 2, Rod Humble. And then I can't remember the other guy's name, something King, I think. And he worked on Sims 3. So that's kind of interesting to me. Because they both were actually during the better eras of the game. And then one coming out of Korea called Inzoi, which this seemed to come out of nowhere. I want to say I had just heard about it over the last couple of months, and it was already about a year from release. Okay. So I'm a little worried because I feel like that was super fast. Maybe it's a larger team than I thought, but it's a little bit more on the realistic spectrum. I just hope
Sure.
it's giving EA time to sweat.
Yeah.
Because they've
for
screwed
sure.
over their Sims players for so long, and they knew they didn't have to worry about it because where was the competition? Nobody was making a life sim game.
Mhm.
Love this for them. I hope it
Yeah.
brings them down. I'm so sick of them. And now that they want to put ads in your games again,
Fuck
yay.
that.
I wish you guys would stop buying their games.
Yeah,
Clearly,
please.
just stop it. They're going to keep doing this if you keep giving them money.
I agree. But anyway, yeah, I
Anyway.
just I have just not gotten around to that one game, Leisure. I don't know why I can't say it.
Suit
Leisure Suit Larry.
I gotta see
Just
what game
because I don't know. I don't know if it's something I will enjoy, and I don't want to put money down on something that I'll be like, you know.
I mean, they can't be that much. I was just looking it up. I know it's on GOG right now, which means you can have it. You just download it. It's yours. You don't need a launcher. There's no DRM, which
Okay.
is why I love GOG. See, I don't know if it would tell me a price right here because I see $9.99. That seems high for the year.
I feel like
I
I've
was
seen it
wondering
on
if it was
sale
all of it.
somewhere. Yeah.
Because there is several of the games. Like, I feel like there has to be some bundle. Oh.
Mhm.
Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded is $2.
Oh,
Sounds
okay.
like a DLC, though, but I don't know. Yeah, looking at it, I'm pretty sure I at least played one of them because the art style and everything looks very familiar to me. I probably didn't play them all. Looking at it now, I don't know that I realized there was actually this many of them. There's quite a bit.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
All right. Greatest hits and misses. Love for Sale. SAIL.
Yeah.
They went on
Yeah.
a boat. He's
Yeah.
on a boat. And
I'm on a
Leisure
boat.
Suit Larry, Magna Cum Laude. Uncut
Ah,
and uncensored.
yeah.
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 Wet
Okay.
dreams don't dry. Dear Lord.
Gross.
All right. They had a lot more games than I thought. Anyway, there you go. Siblings, have you played it? I want to know. Do we know anyone who's played them all? Like, I want to
don't
know
know.
how is it? It's got to be hilarious. Like, I can overlook a lot of those themes if they're like well done jokes.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you know.
I mean,
don't
I'm
know.
down for it if it, like, I don't have a problem with a raunchy comedy.
Mhm.
I've seen my fair share of them, but just, is it going to
Never
be
played it.
something I will enjoy? That's the thing. I mean, I'm talking about having to put money down. This isn't going to streaming and just being like, hey, am I going to play this game and am I going to enjoy it? Or is it just going to be like, oh,
Yeah,
like, it's just
or
not fun.
You just play it for 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess I can see where the humor in this could be funny
Yeah.
to somebody. It's just
Mhm.
not my kind of humor.
Or funny 30 years ago and maybe not now, you know.
Yeah.
Because it is almost that old. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait,
Anyway.
no way. 87? Earlier than I thought. Release date July 5th, 1987. Wow. I was fairly certain it was 90s, but all right. I stand corrected, man.
Still.
Yeah, it's an impressive run there.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to remember the name of that other game now. I'm just going to have to look it up. Was it just Playboy Mansion? Might have just been Playboy Mansion. Video game. Yeah, that's it. Just Playboy the Mansion. All right. Nice
Okay.
and easy. And it literally just looks like the Sims 1 style, like from the PC game.
Mhm.
But just you're playing a Hefner type person.
As you would.
Selling your ladies or whatever you do when you're making a magazine like that.
Selling your ladies.
Selling the ladies, getting them to be in your magazine. All right, moving on. Let's see. But yes, definitely. Number 6. The name of the game is Leap of Faith. You thought it was going to be just another summer. You were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Is this game? I had to keep the rest of it down here for when you have a guess. Remember, I have hints if you wanted to. Well, hints. So is this a one-handed or two-handed game? Leap of Faith.
That could be many, many things.
Could be your name. Could be the actual meaning.
Many, many things. So I think I will ask for a hint here because I don't feel like I got enough information for me to be confident and guess.
That's fair. The description was a little short. And I'll give you two because the first one I want to just say because it's funny to me.
Okay.
So the first one is, this game is the Ted Lasso of virtual novels.
Okay.
So that could go either way still to me, you know. Let's see. This game is, please, I beg you, play this. It's a true masterpiece to this genre. You will cry, laugh, love, and panic, fear at every turn. But when I say this made me feel things I haven't felt in years, please believe me. Worth every dollar without a doubt.
See, that still goes two ways. I'm not 100% sure.
This person loved it.
I'm going to take a wild swing and say this is a two-hander because I feel like this could be a deeply enriched story that doesn't necessarily have to rely on sexual themes.
Sure.
So I'm going to go two-hander. I'm going to take a risk
You're
here.
gonna take a risk on the two-handed game. So it is a one-handed game.
All right.
Yes. They basically, my last little one down here, they recommend it to everyone, all of my friends. I've even gotten my wife to play this. The storytelling skills are drifty, dirty, and next level. The way they can pair the perfect music to perfect scenes. It's romance, it's comedy, it's not safe for work, character development, all the things that I just won't spoil. So if you're on the fence, to you, I say take a leap of faith. You won't regret it. Aww.
Look at you, son bitch.
Made it all come together there. Yep. That was why I had it as the last one, because of the not safe for work themes. That would have been like my giveaway hint for you there. But the Ted Lasso of adult visual novels, I was just like, that almost makes me want to play it.
Yeah, I'm really like, that's the part that I was like, well, how is that? Would that be Ted Lasso and sex and I don't know.
Does he run a soccer team? Does he have anxiety? Is it just like a beautifully angsty comedy drama kind of thing, you know?
And I think the purity of it all, I was just like, immediately you think adult novel or something like that. It's going to be steamy. It's going to be like, ooh, but I guess it could be like Bridgerton or whatever, where it's,
That's a good
high
point.
class society, but also sex. So
We're not supposed to talk about it, but we'll do it behind closed doors.
Ooh, shh.
I know. I think like that's the biggest thing too. It's just like here in the West, since we still are all like, ooh, shouldn't talk about it. Shouldn't do that, you know? But I was actually, okay, another side thing. I was watching this video this morning that this, I don't remember where the journalist is out of, but she did a piece on a platform that sells adult video games that actually has a player base larger than Steam.
Okay.
And the name of the company that they've settled on is Nataku.
Okay.
Right? And so I just thought it was funny that I watched that this morning, knowing that we had, that I was playing this game here. And there's so many on there that like they just legit are trying to make a good game. A lot of them were like clickers and gotcha games and shit like that, hentai and all that kind of stuff. But like there were some decent games that she was rattling off there. And it's like they're making so much money hand over fist. Good for them, man. But like it was doing so well in the East. And so it's based out of Canada. Like they were trying to bring it here. So their strategy before they, actually got big enough that they had enough money was just to like take those games that were doing so well in the East and then let them be the one to be the publisher for it in the West. So it was already an established, well done title, I guess, for the people in the East. And then when it came to us, and then it just like, who would have thought people want to play them? And apparently it just picked up steam and they're like, well over 25 million each year.
Yeah.
They're making. So it's kind of funny. So there's a market. It's just some of them are just bad. When your play time's 10 minutes, we clearly get where you were going with that,
Yeah.
Or at least until the next 10 minutes. I don't know. All right. Anyway, you should watch that piece, though, if you're interested. I just thought it very interesting to see how they strategized their PR campaign because they went to anime conventions. They knew their audience, who dresses up in all of these costumes and like the highest searched anime characters or video game characters on, Pornhub. Which I think that's why it was funny when you last week when you were like Chun-Li, you know, she's actually one of the most searched characters. And this is how I know the tides have shifted. And I know it's kids because they said Chun-Li from Fortnite. And I went, it's all kids looking this shit up because they don't even know that she's well before that.
When did she?
She was like a downloadable character or paid character that you could get, I think, a few years back. I have time buying this on how long things coming out. So it could have been yesterday for all I know. But yeah, I just saw that she was the #1 searched one, but it said from Fortnite. That's when I was like, ah,
interesting.
These are kids. Or I guess kids to me. They could very well be in their 20s by now, but
they're kids.
Still.
I did not know that she was. I'm just flabbergasted by that. I did not realize that was a thing.
They have so many different people now. It's just downloadable characters on Fortnite. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's if you were in the influencer sphere at some point, you might have a Fortnite character. Because I know Ninja had his own, I think, too.
Yeah.
Will Smith, I believe, had one.
Not surprised.
I would imagine at this point Nicolas Cage does. I don't know. I just assume.
I mean, he's been in Dead by Daylight. Why would it be a stretch for him to be in Fortnite?
You know, just the downloadable Nicolas Cage. You don't even need anything else. And his superpower would be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, that whole scene. And just talk you to death. Oh, wait. He could be from like, what was that vampire movie he just did? Well, not just did, like a year or two ago.
Renfield.
Yeah, maybe it would be like a downloadable Renfield. I could see them doing that as a character in Fortnite. Because that was a good movie.
He was also, I don't know if you remember this, and I don't know if you even heard this, because I don't think I shared it on the Discord, but he was the noir Spider-Man in those animated Spider-Man, the Beyond the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse.
Nick Cage was the voice for that? Oh, I did not know that.
And now he's going to be him in live action. They are creating a series based on the noir Spider-Man character from those movies and making a series on Amazon, and he's going to star in it. He's going to be a live action Spider-Man.
So, like, how far in the future was this Spider-Man? Because Nick's not a young kid.
No, he's an older, grizzled.
Oh, so it is the older version.
Yeah,
okay.
like this would be like set in the 1920s, 30s, like black and white. I would have. If you're going to do the aesthetic right, you would do it like a noir.
I hope so.
Thing, but I don't know what their vision. I don't know what they're going for. I just know it got announced. He signed a contract. He is going to be live action Spider-Man with a hat and a trench coat. And
there you go.
Cool, I guess.
There's definitely a part he won't pass up. I'm fairly certain. And I think he's embraced that about himself now, because even when I see him doing live events, you know, he's basically just making fun of the fact, like, I'll take your paycheck. What do you need? What do you need me to do in front of the camera? Like, or at least when he announced his character in Dead by Daylight, was it Summer Games Fest or something like that. I think that was basically what he was saying the whole time. Like, yeah, of course I am. I should have been in this space a long time ago. Like, now he's seeing all these actors that are doing this, and he's like, I want to be in this, this, and this. And like, yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised too, because like actors have moved over quite a bit. Like, I'm kind of impressed at some of the, like, I mean, Willem Dafoe in 12 minutes, like, you got him. And I know the chick's supposed to be impressive too, but I didn't watch Star Wars, so I'm sorry.
Fair.
Ridley, fair. I think her name.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley.
So I'm not knocking her. I just never saw, and I know that's where she was known from, or to my understanding. She's probably
that was the movie that really kind of made her star bright, but have you seen her in anything else since?
I mean,
I know she's worked, but I just haven't actively sought out her movies because they're not in my wheelhouse, I guess, or they're just not calling to me, and I'm just like, I mean, I thought she was fine. I don't have a problem with her. It's all these fucking Mary Sue, whatever. Anyway,
we'll go. All right, so let's see. Game 7. So the name of the game is Dream Ending. And so the leftovers of mankind are destined to perish as the arcs break orbit. Suddenly, however, she's making me ask her out, an invitation to face the apocalypse together. Is this game a one-handed game or a two-handed game?
See, I would assume it's a one-handed game because there's already romance kind of in the title.
We gotta beat this apocalypse together, baby.
So that would be my first assumption. But then I'm thinking maybe you're trying to throw me off because you're throwing in this little detail. And I would assume that it would be a one-hander, but it's actually a two-hander. But then why would you have this dating sim in the middle of an apocalypse if it's not an adult novel? There's something.
Then we also have Dream Daddy.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
But it's not technically a one-handed game. It's just
It's true. It's true.
dating your dads.
Hint.
Hint.
Let me ask for a
All
hint.
right. So this was an interesting visual novel. Not what I was expecting, but it left me feeling really sad, which is good.
Damn. All right.
I know. I couldn't make the first couple of them too easy to get them right away.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I like a challenge. I am going to say two-hander because I think this is going to be something that doesn't quite go down that road, but maybe it's part of the story and it sounds like it could, but it's not. So I'm going to say two-hander.
Two-hander game, and you are correct.
Aha!
Good, sir. Yes, even the last review that was there, he did buy it for the cute girl on the cover. And now,
As one
after
does.
finishing it, I'm just like, this was not what I was here for, but I'm here for it now. I expected a romantic novel or something, but this was unexpectedly good. By the way, it has no options. In parentheses at the bottom.
Okay.
So I guess you don't get to choose which chick. So clearly people were thinking that they were getting a one-handed game, and they was like, oh my God, but I got suckered into this game. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good for them. Good for them that they learned a little something about themselves and were allowed to feel something other than themselves. So
Right.
good for
You
them.
were able to just like see past it and go, all right, well, fine. What is this? Yeah.
All right, so I am curious. He said he bought it because of the girl on the cover. Was she drawn? Was she like live action? Like
No, it was not a live action. No, it was
Okay.
definitely like they were probably looking for hentai games or something like that. I don't know. Which I kind of thought it was going to be when I clicked on the thumbnail myself too. So clearly these devs knew how to catfish the way they needed to, you know?
It just makes me wonder with that mindset. So I don't know if you remember this game or not. There was a game that came out on the Nintendo, Iron Sword. It was Wizards and Warriors 2. The cover is unmistakable. The box art for this. Never seen anything like it before. Never seen anything like it since. They had Fabio on the cover of that.
Nice.
Posing with a sword and everything like he was the knight. And I'm sitting there thinking, how many people bought that because of him?
Oh, Matt, I wonder. But they'd have to be 10, 20 years older than me. That might have been the... I remember him, but I don't remember being like old enough to be like, oh my God, Fabio.
Or you had a girl who was, kind of in a process of sexual awakening. Same with a guy at that age. And they're just like, Mom, I want that game. And the parents are just like, that one? She's like, yeah. Oh, I've heard it's really good. But they just want it for the Fabio cover.
Mom might have caught on to that one and been like, Fabio? Oh, no. I've read books he was on the cover of,
And maybe they were just a little intrigued by it too. They were just like, what do you it's a video game, right? Yeah, it's a video game. And you're just bang, 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 kill things. Okay. And then Mom's looking at the cover like, Fabio. But then they go into the room and the kid's got it mounted on the wall somewhere. And it's like, you really like that game, don't you? Yeah. I love this game.
Favorite game I've ever played, Mom. Love it.
By the way, have you seen? I don't know.
Were you just gonna ask that too? I'm about to be like, "Where's Fabio now?" Please don't tell me he's dead, and then we just
No,
missed it or
I'd
something.
say he's
That would be a
probably
bummer.
retired. I mean, surely to God, he made
He's just retired.
decent bank over the years doing all the modeling and cameo appearances and random shit.
So apparently, he also says he sleeps in a hyperbaric chamber because he believes it reverses aging, according to his wiki. If that's true, interesting. I don't know, sir. You're not bad looking, but you are aging.
Yes. You are.
I hate to break it to you. You're getting drug along like the rest of us. But
If we could live forever, we would.
But then I'd be like, would you want to live forever looking 1,000?
No.
You know, like if you kept aging, I just wondered. Like I feel like you'd have to stop at some point because then you just shrivel away, right? Like there's nothing left to cling to.
Like if you could just stay in your prime, like you know a moment in your life that you were in your prime, then yeah.
And stop it there. Exactly. So that for me would have probably been like at least 10, 15 years ago. We got to stop. It's before everything started breaking. Just stop. Stop there.
Please.
Man, though, look at you, Fabio. You can still tell it's him, but he's aged. I'm sorry. Don't get a regular bed. Be comfortable. Be comfortable through the last half of your years, man. Get yourself comfy.
Like I ain't trying to judge anybody, but I always felt like he was a little off. Like, I don't know. There was just something about him that I felt like that kind of crazy would come out of his mouth. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, where's he from, though? Because it kind of almost like reminds me of like an Arnold. Are they from the same area? Because I know he wasn't born here.
Feel like he's Italian, maybe?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
Milan,
Right?
Italy, according to this.
Okay.
In 1959.
All right.
I know, kind of like as his career was I know he did like acting pieces, but I always thought it was just because I thought it would be funny to have Fabio come out and do a line. And it's usually some like dream sequence with lots of light around him and the wind blowing his hair, of course, you know, just like, oh my God, here he is, you know.
Yeah, just random cameos abound with that man. It was just like, can we just stick, Fabio, just put him in there.
But how many people do you know are famous for being a model of a book cover?
Right?
You know, like I know we read more probably back in the 80s and stuff for entertainment, but just saying, like I cannot think of another single human being that I would know from just like modeling for a book cover.
No, I have no other. Yeah, he's the only one.
And now they'll probably just AI some dreamboat, you know, or if they even do covers like that anymore. I don't even know.
I doubt it.
My mom used to read the Silhouette novels all the time.
Ooh.
And I had no idea what they were growing up, of course, right? You know, and she was part of some like book clubs. So she would get them sent to her like, I don't know, once a month, couple, 3 books, 4 or 5 books or whatever. And like now in hindsight, thinking back, just like how mom would just sit around and read these books. I'm like, oh my God, I was here, you know, until, you know, we went through them all and I was like, oh, okay, I know what these are. And man alive, she had like boxes and boxes. I'm like, you go, girl. You get yours. Whatever helps you out, you know?
Whatever helps.
Anyway, sorry, guys. You knew I was going to deviate a little bit. So, all right. Game number 8.
All right.
Game number 8 is called The Sword Bearer. And this is a take on the role of a young adventurer who recently inherited a sword. Your journey starts after you apply to the Knights Guild at the capital. Meet lovable characters as you explore this world that awaits you, face the darkness that surfaces, and uncover the evil plot as your story progresses. Is this a one-handed or a two-handed game?
What was the title again?
The Sword Bearer.
Sword Bearer. Okay. This definitely sounds like a two-hander. But with the name like the Sword Bearer, I can see where you could possibly go one-handed.
Sure. You might need to hold the sword. I don't know. Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning that direction a little bit because I'm trying to visualize what this game could be in that aspect. And, you know, we're talking about knights, the time period. Game of Thrones is popular. I know that there's a little bit more fantasy to that, but it's still the knights and the things and their sects and
women love a good knight, I guess, right? Like a good knight.
I mean, in more ways than one. I am going to say one-hander. I think this is some naughty Game of Thrones-esque thing where you maybe have to think about sex with your cousin or something.
Well, maybe. Gotta keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah.
Quotation marks up. Man, you have such a striking chin.
Anyway, this could be a one-hander. I think it's a one-hander.
Going for a one-hander, and you are correct.
Aha!
Good job.
Sword Bearer.
Good job. Yes. They had some good reviews too, but my favorite that I read was, I'm a man of culture. I see boobs I like.
Fair.
That was all of the review. Honestly, if you want a good time, you should just go read reviews for one-handed games, if you will. It's quite hilarious. And some will even try to do like a huge, fully professional breakdown of like a regular game like you would have. And you know what? Everybody, you do your thing, because some of them actually are pretty good. If they had a good story, I'd play it. I don't care.
Sure. Why not?
I need a good story. If I see TNA along the way, who gives a crap? You know, like as long as it's part of the plot, I guess. For these games, I guess it would have to be.
You would hope so. Yeah. I mean, you can throw it away just like most pornos do, but you got to give respect to these programmers. They're like, no. We'll give them what they want, but we're also going to try to educate and give them some culture.
Keep them on the edge of their seat.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, the other one wasn't that great. So your next game is called Claire's Quest. It's a dark fantasy RPG with an emphasis on creativity instead of combat. With her wit and wiles alone, Claire must flee the horrors of war and try to survive in a new world with danger lurking around every corner. Is this a one-handed or two-handed game?
I have a hard time believing this would be a one-hander.
Okay.
Because I can't visualize how this could turn into something. I guess it could. Anything can.
In this day and age, what do they say? Rule 34 is that is? Or Rule 32?
43, I think it is.
Whatever, yeah. Or anything. There's a porn version of it or something.
Sure. So there's probably a porn version of whatever this is. But I'm not convinced that this would be that. Because it sounds... All right, give me a hint. Just to throw it out there, just so I can either be confident or unsure.
Sure. All right. Well, the first review then, this game has a lot of replayability. I recommend saving often, as there are a lot of times choices can lead to deaths or unlock different routes that move you along, and there's not always a way to back out of a conversation.
I feel like that's really changed my mind.
To keep it in the middle.
I'm gonna stick with two-hander. I'm having a hard time figuring this to be anything but.
Right?
So if I'm wrong, I'm really anxious to hear why.
Excellent. Well, then, Steven said a two-handed game, and it is a one-handed game.
Okay, explain.
The last review just says, my hand hurts.
What?
Yeah, that was the last review. So apparently he enjoyed the game, or she, or they, whoever they are. But yeah, it actually looks like just a regular RPG, but I guess with sometimes the wiles and wits she might have to use as herself, and offers that up sometimes to get through whatever the situation is. So I'm guessing whatever she could do to keep violence off the table, that's what she does in her quest.
I see.
So like a horror one-handed game, like,
All right.
And don't kill me with whatever themes there probably are in the rest of the game, guys. We all know what themes happen in games.
See,
So play at your own risk.
I feel like there's a movie out there waiting to be made with this concept from the right studio. Maybe
it is already there. Should probably go look. It's like on Pornhub. Is there a movie streamer kind of like Pornhub, but it's just all skin flicks?
I don't know. There's got to be.
There has to be.
Has to be.
Like the only thing humans do the first time we're given any new thing, I don't care what the thing is. Can we get cats on it, and can we get porn on it? Mm-hmm. And then past that, we will learn what other usefulness it probably has. But those two things have to come first.
Exactly. Got to do those things first.
Because they both win the internet. And I probably can't say the word I want to use right now because it's probably X-rated and somebody hates it. But all the P, you know what I mean? Has to be on the internet before, or on the anything, before we can continue forth with what other features it might have. Excellent. All right. So I've only got one more game left here. I did 10. I assumed maybe we'd have a lot of chat and forget it, but this one should be nice, neat, simple one here. The game is called Snood. And the description is forget life, play Snood.
Forget life, play Snood. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Dude, I snooded so much. This is so snood. I couldn't pass up writing that one down. I know it wasn't helpful,
Okay,
but
so
I couldn't help it.
immediately, I'm on team. This is one hand,
Okay, yeah.
but then I'm just thinking that you had some asshole just take the name and just made it sound dirty.
To sell a copy or two, I know. Man.
Yeah,
See, I'm trusting him to not look up the answers right now, you know.
no, I'm definitely not. I'm gonna go one-hander because there's just something about it that just. But see, I'm questioning it now because
it's tough. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's definitely one of those that could lean into that because of the name, but then people are making it dirtier than it is, and it's not, and then I'm just getting sucked into that.
Yeah. I didn't want it to be easy.
And I appreciate that. So, one-hander.
Going with one hand again.
I'll put my hand down. Yep, one-hander. That's it.
Excellent. And it is a two-handed game.
Shit. Okay, I should have
But
just
I
stuck
know
with my gut.
everything. Yeah, it looks like one of those things where they actually just like throw the balls at the other colored balls to break them. It's kind of funny. So, but I could tell that's what people were after because they're like, this is the moment Centrist became an MC super sex god. That's another review, like a main character. So it's just like, why are you guys talking like that? I think they were just playing on the snood. I found snood. Haven't looked at hentai since. Forget life, play snood. That was my last hint for you if you needed it. Haven't played it since. There you go. Let's see. I think we might have been about 50-50 here. 1, 2, 3.
I feel like I did half and half. I don't feel like
You did actually. Dead center. You got 5 that were right and 5 that were wrong. Yay.
Right.
At least I didn't give away two easy ones here. And it was a lot of fun just like sitting back here and having like porn games on this side of the screen and regular games on this side of the screen. Like I'm doing research for the pod, man.
Yeah, that's all it is, man.
That's all it
That's
is what I'm doing, you know. So Dead Rock Redemption though might grab me. I'm not gonna lie. It looked actually kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interest in there just based on the way you described it and then what it turned out to be, and you're just like, all right.
Even in the video for the trailer for the game, it's not like completely here's all the goodies. But as you read down for the rest of them and they talk about like all the women and all this kind of stuff that you'd meet along the way is when it gets into it. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I've played a couple of those that sucked me in just from the story alone. I think everybody remember. Well, maybe not everybody. But still to this day, one of my favorite visual novels was Coming Out on Top. Yes. But I feel like I talked about it a little bit when we had the video game pod because I wanted to make sure everyone understood it's absolutely 18 plus. It is absolutely that. Okay. And it was a gay men dating simulator, if you will. However, I cannot remember a time I have gut laughed at dialogue. This person who wrote it, freaking comedy genius. Like I hands down I don't think I've ever found another story that was just so perfectly hilarious, charismatic, and sexy.
All right.
I kept looking to see if that person's made other games because I was going to buy it in a heart. I swear to God, I laughed so hard and they had such good moments in there. And there was like 5 or 6 guys, I think, that you could date. I 100%ed that bitch because I wanted to read everything it had to offer. So I still recommend it. I'm sure it's still on Steam. I think it was only like $10. But I'm very sad I've not seen this developer do any more games. And makes me very sad because, my God, it's such a good game.
And it's always rough when it's like one developer who had one solid game. And like you said, you don't see them again or you don't know their name well enough that it sticks with you. And maybe they've done something else and you haven't picked up on it, but you're like, oh man, they're so solid. Where's their games? And
dude, yeah, I'm so sad. Obscura Soft, because I had to look it up because I could never remember it. But I feel like when I was reading into the developing team, it was one person. I'm fairly certain, which would make sense. It is, it's just a visual novel. There's no action to it at all. You get a couple of choices, of course, along the way. But yeah, I mean, honestly, hard pressed to find a more well-written piece of media. Like, I've never laughed that hard at any kind of game or anything that I've read before outside of this game. So if you're not prude about it, you know, I can definitely recommend that game. But if you don't like those themes, you're not going to like it. And I think I 100%ed it in like, okay, well, Steam says 90 minutes. So it's not even like asking a whole heck of a lot of your time. You could read through one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dudes you can date. And then a couple of like side bonus character dudes that might pop up here or there.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to see if they're still selling it because I hope so. Yay! Okay, you can still go buy it. Oh, it's 40% off right now, only $9. I recommend it. Go do it. Go do it, people.
Go do
Unless
it.
you don't like those themes, then don't. But it's very adult. It's very adult. But
Fair enough.
yeah, I think that's why sometimes I'll still read through those games because they've got a good personality about shit sometimes, you know, where it's just like, this is hilarious. It's kind of gross, but this is kind of hilarious too. Cause it's like real human moment sometimes. And you're like, well, I've been in awkward situations probably like that or something before, you know? And I'll buy them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, except for those ones that you can clearly tell were all, I don't even know what you call the graphic art style. And I'm sure you've seen it. And it's usually with those types of games, you know, where you're actually like, I guess, live action. There's some like, I might have to show you because like there's probably a name for that art style that they all always seem to do where it's like kind of realism, but you could tell it was like graphic design and they look so shiny.
Yeah.
I feel like that's whatever that engine is. I feel like all I guess indie adult game developers must use it because they've all got that distinctive style, unless it's a visual novel, in which case it's just, and they may even still have that style. It's just not animated. Like it'll be that style as a picture. I wonder what it is about that style though, that they've gravitated towards the most. Cause it's not even like polished.
Does it make the people seem pristine, I guess? Like flawless in some way? Because something tells me that's what it would be, because you have this, a lot of people, or at least it seems like a lot of people have this preconceived notion of beauty.
Sure.
And that you can't have a scar, you can't have, what do you call them, stretch marks, you can't have freckles, all the things that I think make people beautiful.
Right.
And I mean that
Seriously?
like genuinely. I don't want to see, like, sure, I guess a perfect body, as it were, if you can find one, would be interesting to look at. But the flaws on a person, or what is perceived as flaws, I think are beautiful. I think that they kind of add a little something that you don't get from somebody else. It's like that's their feature.
Yeah, it's makes each person a little bit more unique, or I don't. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. A little more human.
Yeah.
Older. I don't know. Yeah, you've lived life. So what? You have a scar or whatever. I think our media is doing better. But again, like that beauty is all going to be relative anyway, right? Because somebody is going to say hot just means rail thin, big boobs, we're good, you know, and somebody else is like, well, I kind of like the curves and all that, you know, and then some people, I want them super tall, or some likes BBW. Like there's someone out there for everyone, you know?
I genuinely think that I think you should have an open mind about everything when it comes to obviously it's not going to work when it comes to the sex you prefer.
Yeah.
That's something you can't change. You either like men, you like women, you like both. Yeah. Some people can do, both, but it's not for everybody. I get that. So
some
that's
people
what I'm
just
talking about.
They don't care for the label. They like the wine. I think that's my favorite line from Schitt's Creek I ever heard. When he was talking about that after he slept with her and then he was hitting on some other guy, and she's like, I don't get what you're doing. He's like, honey, I'm into the wine, not the label. And I was just like, that is the most perfect, I don't know. I thought it was encapsulated that idea very nicely. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit what you are or anything like that. Are you a good person? Let's start there. I just thought it was great.
Same. Yeah. I think it's a great way to look at it. I genuinely think that if the woman is attractive, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't have a particular preference of woman. Like, she doesn't have to be a certain size.
Like, oh, you're just into tall blondes who do this.
Right.
It's each person's
Age,
different.
color, whatever. Like, I've seen women of all races, all sizes, all shapes and sizes. And I can tell you so many different ones that she's attractive, she's attractive, she's attractive, she's attractive. And they're all across the spectrum.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the beauty of it. I'm not centered on one thing. Well, she has to be this, she has to be that. No. If it's attractive in my eyes, I don't give a shit what she looks like.
Yeah.
I see her as a beautiful person. Therefore, sold.
Sold, right. Yeah.
I got
I'm
options.
the only one who has to care about this one. Yeah. No,
Right.
and I think there's something to be said for that too, because I mean, I'm the same way. It's not like every man or whatever that I thought was just gorgeous was just one little mold, you know?
Yeah.
I do have a little bit more of a preference for like taller and dark hair. But then Jensen Ackles came around and I'm like, well, then that's just not true anymore because he's blonde and I love him, you know? So, and then of course I had a crush on Jonathan Brandis growing up. It's very weird. Like, I feel like I put that on me and then every time I deviate from it, I'm like, oh, really? And so maybe I just need to be like, it doesn't matter. It's just whichever human that's in front of you that you find attractive at that time.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm more like that than I thought. But I always start there. I'm like, I like tall and dark hair, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's deviated because then I've dated shorter guys with blonde hair and all this stuff. And, you know, so I don't know. Maybe I don't have a type like I thought. It's just decent people.
See, I feel like I've discovered a type that I didn't realize I had. And I don't know where it came from. But again, this is where I feel like I have just all types. Doesn't matter, just as long as my eyes see an attractive woman.
Sure.
But the dyed redhead woman and maybe a few tattoos. I came across a woman looking like that one time and I was like, oh shit. And I don't know what it was, but it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe she just carried it so well that you just, not everybody can pull off that look. Honestly, if you're saying like the box red dye and
And see that, like the fiery redhead type, I've never thought about that as a type that I lean toward. But find the right woman with that hair and just rocking everything else.
And with confidence.
Yeah, it's like it elevates it to a whole other level that I'm just like, Jesus Christ. You know, like I just, whew.
No, I feel you there. No.
Yeah, it's just, it's interesting, you know, that it happens like that. Because to say, it's not all redheads.
No.
But it's just very particular. And I guess that's what it is with all the other, like I said, shapes, sizes, races, whatever it is. Very particular. And I like it. I like that I can have a variety of women that I find attractive.
On the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why stick to one thing? Why say, well, this is all I want? I want Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's the woman for me.
I mean, you do you, I guess, but...
There's a guy out there who thinks she's hot.
Oh, I'm sure. And I shouldn't say that about somebody because I think denigrating someone's looks is probably the laziest way to insult someone when I've got so much other great reasons to make fun of her than that.
But at the end of the day...
But yes, to your point, there's a type for everyone out there. And that should be how it is. I mean, and I like that our media is starting to show more people like that look more human. I know they're humans, actors. I get it. I'm not trying to say that they're not humans or whatever, but who's got that kind of time and money? Like, you have personal trainers, you have dietitians, you have all these things, you know, like, it's not realistic. And the moment you're not filming, you're not doing that rigorous of a routine anymore either. So it's just, I like to see more realistic bodies.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm 100% on that.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, she's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. I a little more cushion's good for me too.
Yeah.
Like, do I appreciate someone who's big and buff? Sure. But like, gotta be something to hold on to there, you know? Like,
no, I get it. Yeah.
You know, little cushion on the side or something like that. But that's why you have stuff for everyone.
Mm-hmm. But hey, back brief thing with Marjorie. You know, you can be ugly in other ways, and you know she's got an ugly soul as far as I'm concerned. So. Yeah,
that's one that I don't get how that made it through. But nothing makes sense in life anymore. So I don't know that there's anything I can say that I just don't believe, because life's just been too weird. So I'd be like, all right, that's probably true. It's probably why we can't get jokes as much anymore either.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everything just kind of happens to the point where we're like, well, that's not even funny. That probably would have happened or something. It's like, oh, yeah, you're probably right now.
That's
You can't
true.
really satire life anymore when your whole life is satire anymore.
Amen to that.
But yeah, so my only complaint would be is just I feel like there's not enough of these kinds of games for, like, you know, straight women.
Sure. Okay.
Like it was very hard, like rare to see where it was like a femme point of view and like dudes. It was always like you're the guy who's always like 21.
And it's
So 21-year-old guy who just like not even cute that they throw into these situations and all these women are all over him like, look.
And isn't that kind of ironic, considering that a lot of those romance novels that are very much this were catered to those women, and now they are not really catering to them anymore?
Maybe erotica doesn't transfer as well to visual for some people. Maybe that's just the thing with like women aren't, not all of them obviously, but maybe as a whole they're not as visual when it comes down to it. They need more of the feelings, the descriptions, the whatever. And again, not overgeneralizing, but I would imagine if it was making a ton of money, there'd be more of a market for it. So that's the only thing I could think of is like, there's people who probably have made them and they're just not making as much, or we can't find them.
Yeah, true.
That's me,
Sure.
you know, like as I was going through these, I'm like, there's got to be one for like a straight woman that wants to just like hook up with a bunch of hot guys, right? Like just randomly. I couldn't find any. I know there has to be.
Yeah,
Maybe
there
just
has
on
to be.
Steam. Maybe I got to go check Nutaku now that I know it exists.
Maybe they don't realize the market is out there for them to tap into.
True.
Which seems odd that they wouldn't, but maybe they're just comfortable doing their book writing and they feel like these housewives need the books.
They do like a lot of fan fiction, man.
But I mean, you got the phones, you got the computers. I mean, come on, the
think they
market's
would.
there.
I think they would, honestly. I do.
I'm surprised.
And there's more of them out there into freaky stuff than they'll ever admit because, you know, a little bit of our culture is still like, we're supposed to be demure and not talk about. I know we're definitely getting better at that, but I think it's still for the most part like, we're not supposed to like it or be as all about it or whatever. And it's like, well, if you gave it to me, I might.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody actually thought about making stuff for us over here. But yeah, I could imagine the reading, the writing, it's probably more popular because I mean, look at 50 Shades of Grey, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was poorly written and it flew off the shelves.
So all they needed was the thrill, the excitement.
I couldn't get through it. I tried to read one, and my God, the amount of just internal dialogue this woman would have that sounded like a teenager drove me crazy. It was just so much like, oh my God, he's so hot. I can't believe he's talking to me. And I'm like, am I really going to have to read this the whole time? Like just her internal dialogue of how, okay, nope. So I watched the movies instead, which were also bad.
I didn't watch them. Not going to. I have no
Oh,
interest.
I was so morbidly curious. I had to check it. I had to watch it. And I loved picking it apart. Like there's just so much holes to poke in that, okay, we can leave after this. But the one, I think it was in the third one because it was definitely, I felt like it was just a giant ad because they would have like a long scene of him driving, I don't know, some fancy car, you know, down a winding road for like 2 minutes and zooming in on the car. And I'm like, okay, so this car maker probably gave them money. Right? Like it's an ad placement. And then, but he all of a sudden flies a helicopter. We've never had mention of this in the movies yet, that he even does this for fun or anything like that. And he gets into a helicopter accident or whatever. Like they go down. So then we cut to the scene where it's like his family and what's her name sitting around the news talking about it because he's like a big deal, you know, and just, oh my God, where's the blah, blah. And then he just walks in with like a couple of cuts. And she runs over to him and gives him a big hug and all this stuff and just starts yelling at him about how sad she was and how scared she was and all this kind of stuff. Bitch never asked him how he was once. Not once. And then all of a sudden they're getting married. And I'm like, what was the point of that scene?
Yeah.
It didn't connect to anything. You never even told us he liked to fly helicopters to all of a sudden have him crash, to have it mean nothing. And guys, who's writing this shit? Woman, look, you should have stopped after the first one. Because now I hate her. How are you not going to ask how your man's doing if he just got into a helicopter crash? How are you making it all about how you felt the whole time? I'm sure you were scared. I was almost about to die. You can tell it made me angry. I was just
Clearly.
like, what? No. I don't know. Their whole relationship was pretty apt. But I'm just saying, if you read the books and did all that kind of stuff, women are into some kinky shit.
Yeah.
You just got to make it for him. Make it for us. Put it out there. Put it out there. Or somebody needs to tell me I don't know how to search the internet well enough. I guess.
Yeah, I learned a lot the older I got about women, that the world at large made me think otherwise. As if women were not into certain types of things that only men were, and only men were like this, and only and women are not. Yeah. And I believe that for so many years of my life. And then I learned eventually, I was like, that is not the case.
Yeah, there is a woman out there for everybody. Yep.
So interesting.
Yep, you do you, man. But or somebody just tell me where I can go.
Please.
help a lady out here. But yeah, so hopefully you found that a little fun. I tried to throw Steven a game here, and I'm kind of curious how many y'all got at home if you tried to play, or how many do you own? Give me your own review, the Ted Lasso of adult visual novels. I would like to hear more of those.
Well, being on the other side of it for a change, I can see where your brain kind of goes into overdrive thinking, this is a trick. I'm trying to think here. So, yeah, that's where my brain was at a lot of the time. I was like, she's tricking me with this.
There you go. See, that's usually what I'm saying. Because I'm like, well, now we're doing this, but then you're good at it. So you know how to write it to make it sound like this. And then now, oh my God, and then I'm just round and round in my head. So, yeah, well, let us know if you liked that one. And Lace will try to think of some other ones. She had another one she might do if I get enough stuff together for it here. But yeah, that's all I got for you.
All right.
That's all I got for you. Thanks, siblings.
Yeah, siblings, if you've got a game idea, concept, recommendation that you'd like us to play, it could be either one of us on the other side of it. We can take it from there. You just let us know. Tell us at Super Mega Crash on your favorite social media app, or send us an email. Give us a whole big list. Like you've mapped this game out, and it's going to take us a full episode, 2 hours to play it.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Wouldn't that be fun? So if you've got that, send us that email. Support the show over on Patreon, or leave us a 5-star review, and you can do that on your favorite podcasting app.
It only requires one hand.
Yeah, well, one hand. You can do that all with your phone. That's what that's what it's made for. Finally, keep up with any and all things over at pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes down below. Join us again next week, siblings. But until then, go beyond your limits.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.